Does that gospel remind you of another one that's coming up, say on Palm Sunday or Good Friday? Like, A, it's really long, right? I mean, and there's all this motion going on. And there's tense language. This one's actually got some humor to it, right? Whereas, I don't know where he is. Go find him yourself. I'm the guy that was blind up until a few minutes ago. You go find him. I don't know where he is. And of course, they all saw where this was going. So that's the parents like, no, talk to him yourself. We're not getting into this. Nobody wants to be in on this. You figure it out. I don't know if you know, there's an application for your phone called Be My Eyes. And someone introduced me to it about a year ago. And its design is for people that are legally blind or significantly visually impaired to be able to just hit that app if they just need a little help. And then it will ring several people that are volunteers. So currently there's about 600,000, visually impaired people and 6 million helpers. And so if a blind person or, I'm just going to use blind for simplicity, but it could be any level of visually impaired, right? So if they hit that button, the app rings like 20 people so that they get an answer quickly. So once you have this app, you've got to hit it fast when you see it, right? And then they're going to connect with a video, and they're going to tell you what they need, and you help them. It's a really awesome thing. I've answered like 5 or 6 calls. And the first one I answered, though, was hilarious in that this woman says, can you help me with it? Absolutely. What you got there? And the screen is all black. And I'm like, she goes, what does this paper say? And I go, I can't see anything. It's just black. And she starts laughing because she's fully blind. There are no lights on in her house. Just a minute, I got to turn a light on for you. So, oh, it's this. Okay, thanks. They hang up. But my all-time favorite one was, it was a long week at school, and I come home on Friday, and I fall into my chair, and I open the phone to do something mindless. I don't remember what I was doing, but, the alert pops up. Someone on Be My Eyes needs help. Oh, man. Because I had it right in my hand, I knew I was going to get this call. I'm so excited. Boop, hit it. And this lady says, can you help me get ready to make dinner Friday night? She goes, and I can't tell if this cheese is expired. So she's got this whole pack of shredded cheese, and of course, because she's legally blind, no, it's not there. We finally find it. It's in the bottom corner. And I was like, yeah, it's expired by about 2 weeks. And she gets really upset. I said, no, wait a minute. Is it open? Has it ever been open? She goes, no, I haven't even opened it. I go, well, look, it's going to be good still. It's the air that's going to make that bad. And so we have this discussion about cheese, and she says, okay, but she didn't believe me. She didn't quite trust me yet. I go, look, the easiest way to know if it's any good is just to open it and smell it. You don't actually need to see it. You'll know in a second if it's no good. So she tears it, she puts the phone down, she tears it open. She goes, still, I want you to look. So she's got her phone inside the bag. She's stifting it with her hand. And I'm like, no, there's no mold. It looks good. I go, how does it smell? And she says, it smells fine. I really think you're fine here. But she's got to trust me, right? She can't see it. She's got to trust me. And in the end, I loved what she said. She's like, thank you so much. I was so looking forward all week to eating tacos, and now I'm going to have tacos. And we hang up. And it just like changed my whole day, You're just like, cool. A feast awaits her. She was ready to throw it away. And I mean, obviously, it's a parallel for us. What do we see? Who do we trust? This was the Sunday right as we shut down the world. It was the 4th Sunday of Lent. Michael and I were talking about that. I remember I had the last Mass here. It was the 5 p.m. We had the 5 p.m. Mass then. And, it had already been announced, schools were all going to shut down by the end of Monday. And there was a pall over the community because we did not know. We could not see, and we had to trust. We had to trust. And in spite of all the evidence that might be to the contrary, that's what's going on in this story, right? Unlike blind Bartimaeus, we remember Bartimaeus, when Jesus meets him, he says, what do you want? And he says, I want to see. This guy doesn't say anything. Jesus drags him into this story. The disciples go, hey, why is he blind? His parents are him. Jesus is like, no. The guy doesn't say anything. Jesus, he spits on the ground, he makes mud, rams it on his eyes. Go wash your eyes. I guess I have to now. Thanks, by the way, for that. This is great. Right? And then because it sets in motion this really tense story that this guy never asked for. But he's got to trust. But then really the crux of the story, right, is that the people that know, the people that can see, don't trust what they now see. They don't trust what they see. all the evidence to the contrary, when the end comes to the very end here, what do? They throw him out. Rather than confront the evidence of the goodness of this person, Jesus Christ, they throw him out. In and out, in and out. They go back and forth with him over and over again. Come here, get away. Come here. And then in the end, when he's just like, what you believe is crazy based on the information you have. And you can imagine it. You're right. Get out. Right? Rather than change their belief, get him out of here. And then the story turns on, and Jesus finds him. Right at that point, Jesus is not a part of any of this discussion. And he's fine to let it go, and hoping that the sign of the healing could change their hearts. Will the sign of the healing change our hearts? Can it? Will we let it, or will we just toss it out? Because what God has in store for us is a new way of seeing. We heard it in every reading, that we would see each other differently, that we would see as God sees, that we would treat each other with the same love and respect that God loves and respects us. But we don't have to. We can live in fear, and we can hold on to our tightly held beliefs in spite of all the evidence to the contrary, because we have that freedom. We're that powerful that we don't have to do it. But of course, what's laid gently at the feet of everyone in this story and in everyone in this room today is the evidence of who God really is, what he really wants for us. And so for us, we're on that phone call, and we're afraid of what's inside that bag. And Jesus is like, I've seen the bag. I know what's in the bag. You're perfectly fine. And the question comes down to, what he's offering us is the feast. And the only one that can take us away from the feast, ironically, is ourselves. And we can try to rob others of it too, as we get really loud and cantankerous in our fear, in our anger, whatever else it be. But what God has in store for us, what Jesus is laying out here is, that's what he said, is it his sin or hers, the parents that make him blind? No. What you're going to see in a moment here is going to lead you to why I'm here. And that is to save us, to lead us to a feast. And if we don't believe that, no amount of others pointing it out to us will make any difference. It just won't. It can't. It was true 2,000 years ago, and it's only truer today. We have the ability to know. We have the intellect to reason it. But in the end, we got to trust. We got to trust that Jesus is Lord and he's leading us to life. We got to trust that the cheese is not moldy and will lead us to a feast. But in the end, that's our action. And we got to practice it every day. Otherwise, when big things like a global pandemic come, there's no way we'll trust. We can't. Mary's yes to the angel was not her first yes to God. It couldn't have been. It was asking everything of her. She had been trusting God her whole life. So that when the big one came, she says, what? Be it done unto me, just as you say. That can't be your first interaction with God. It just can't. Come to the feast that Jesus has prepared for us. We're having tacos tonight, brothers and sisters. Let the feast be ours. May God be praised.